Good morning, everyone, and my special good morning to our today's guest speaker, Mr. Akshit Khandelwal. Welcome, you sir, on the behalf of all the team, Saturday 10 a.m. NMIMS.
Thank you so much.
I also welcome our director, sir, Dr. Akshay Malhotra, and warm welcome to all the wonderful audience over here. In this series, we already have done 4 episodes in the previous semester, covering diverse topics like venture capital, innovations, including the interaction with our alumni to discuss journey from campus to the corporate, then life skills. So various diverse topics we have covered in this series, and the audience response have been unbelievable with the huge number of audience. One of the event was so popular that we have crossed almost over 1200 views for that event. So you know that this Saturday 10 a.m. is an initiative taken by our director, Sir Dr. Akshay Malhotra, with the goal that to bring the bright minds to share their ideas, their experiences with the students to foster learning environment, to inspire our students and provoke conversations for that matter. So this is worth mentioning here that our students step forward to be a part of this team. They express their interest, and so we are here with the formation of team Saturday 10 a.m. NMIMS. So, friends, when such type of events takes place, it takes a lot, and we say that when such events appear effortlessly, then we say that it is a success. But believe me that a lot of hard work is involved and goes in to make that event appear like that. So without wasting the more time, I would like to introduce our wonderful team here, Saturday 10 a.m. NMIMS team. So the student in charge is Raj Bharadwaj. Then we have various sub-teams which we have formed to ease the functioning of these events. We have Samarth Verma, but Utkarsha Kuwar, Sarthak Singh, Kartik Tiwari, Pranjal Nigam, and Shivam Mishra in our outreach team. Then we also have the technical team in which the technical team members are the Akshat Kotia, then Saloni Agrawal. We have the social media and editing team where the Ansh Gupta is the member of the team, and many more members are there. So very soon you will come to know the team list of Saturday 10 a.m. Thank you so much, and I welcome Mr. Akshit Khandelwal. Our students are eagerly waiting to listen to you, and because the topic itself is so tempting to listen for them. So welcome, and over to you, Samarth and Sarthak.
Thank you, Smita ma'am, for such a wonderful introduction to the team. It is an immense honor for us to be given the opportunity to host these sessions. A good product manager is the CEO of the product. And today we have amongst us a very talented product manager, a leader in himself, Mr. Akshit Khandelwal, product manager, Walmart India. Now I would like to humbly request our highly skilled guest, Mr. Akshit Khandelwal, to introduce himself.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Samarth, and thank you, Smita, for having me here. Thank you, Sarthak, to setting this up. So I'll go very brief about the introduction that I have for myself. So I started, I've done my graduation from NSIT. Over there, I was working with Red Bull and Uber as a student brand manager to basically do the marketing for everything in the college, around the college, and increase the visibility, functionality. Now that actually gave me like kind of a question that spending 30,000 rupees on a student, how is that impact even quantified? Like how do you know that it's worth doing it, right? So, and that took me to Axtria, because Axtria was a company which was doing exactly that. uh, so basically, if you have a marketing budget, they will let you know that where should you put your money in and how much, so that you get maximum sales. And at the end of the day, sales is the only quantifiable metric that the entire team is tracking. Well, so at 2.5 years in Axtria, I learned a lot about analytics. I'm very thankful for that. Did a lot of mixed marketing kind of problems and attribution of marketing activities to sales. Post that, I wanted to move out. I wanted to move out because the problem was that it was in pharmaceutical industry. Not really a problem, but yeah, I wanted to be in a more customer centric or customer focused uh, uh, organization where I can put my brains to the good use and see the impact in real time. Now that urge took me to make my trip. I had an offer from McKinsey and Make My Trip, but I went on to join Make My Trip because obviously it was in growth role and it was in product. So once I joined Make My Trip, I worked there for 2.5 years. Thankfully, very thankful that I saw the industry going from extremely amazing to actually a point where for 2 quarters we saw no bookings at all, thanks to COVID. So over there, I worked as a product manager in the growth team. I was taking care of the homepage, the onboarding journey, personalization, and basically what do you show to a customer? How do you cross sell? How do you upsell? And how do you make it more relevant for a user? Doing that for 2.5 years, I then moved to Walmart. Currently, I'm taking care of the entire cart and checkout journey for members on on basically on MWeb desktop and apps for Sam's Club. Sam's Club is basically a membership only kind of a portal, which is based in US, Mexico, and Canada. So I'm taking care of that currently. And yeah, so here we are. Yeah.
So you mentioned you had done your engineering from NSIT, and due to this COVID scenario, all of us have been like having our lectures online, like for the last two years. So how was that college life experience for you, like offline in NSIT?
Well, it was overwhelming. I think the best 4 years of my life were spent in my college. So no two ways about it. I'm really very sorry for you guys to be doing it online. However, it's an amazing opportunity for you to grow and learn at the same time, because when you're in college, you're distracted in 300 different things. On the other hand, when you're at home, you can actually focus on the few of those that you want to do. So my experience was amazing. For 2.5 years, I was working out of 4 years. 2.5 years, I was working with Red Bull. 1 year, I was working with Uber. So that was the time when I was working. Rest all the time, I was basically chilling with my friends and uh, doing a lot of problem solving, because that's something that we wanted to do, like to, and exploring what all is there to explore. So yeah, that's basically it.
Uh, Mr. Akshit, like what according to you is the importance of a student to be involved in co-curricular activities in the university?
I think it's extremely important. It helps you grow, learn. It helps you network, and it helps you take responsibility. See, at the end of the day, no matter what career choice you take, you will come to a point where you would take responsibilities as a leader, as a person. If something is set onto you, you need to do it. So if you're doing it as an extracurricular or co-curricular activity in your college, you're basically honing yourself, or you're honing your skills to be that. And it's extremely important. I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but most of us would not be doing what we are studying. So so it's good to diversify right from the start, because it'll help you to grow on as an individual.
So, what were those co-curricular activities or extracurricular activities that you did that
Mhm.
led you in this journey ahead?
Okay, so I was involved in a lot of things actually. So I was in core team for during 4 years. I organized three of the fests. So that was one. I also took care of Red Bull Uber, so that was like a pretty much like a 3 hour job every day. I was part of the uh, the team which makes solar cars. So because I was always interested in cars, and that's the reason why I took mechanical to begin with. So I was involved there. Then I had like very close bonding or interaction with all the other forums that were there. So, for example, DepSoc to ISAC to everything. I was very closely in touch because obviously Red Bull made me do that. So that was another part. And then I was very active in sports, like quite active.
That's great, sir. Now, coming to the next question, like what exactly is product management?
Uh, that's a good one. So I really wish that I had a very simple answer for that. It's not that simple. So product manager is the CEO for a product. I partially agree, but a product manager is basically a person who wears the hat of a customer all the time, but at the same time understands business, engineering, UX is basically design, the experience, and all the nitty gritties that there are. So that is all you need to take forward when you are a product manager. And at the same time, you have like 1,500 different things that you can do. Which are those top five that you want to do right now is the biggest question for any product manager. So prioritization is a key skill, and that's basically a very important product. Yeah, and I can shed more light on the few things that I said. So, for example, when I say that you wear a hat of a customer, I mean to say that you, as a product manager, are always thinking about the customer, because design team is going to think about how to come up with creative, crazy designs that are amazing to use. However, if you are a product manager, you need to think that is your target audience even going to understand it? Are they even going to like it? When you are when you come go to engineering and you say that this is the feature that we want to make, engineering would have their own standpoint, right? They'll say that hey, this API is basically failing, so let's show user a message saying that something went wrong. Now, as a product manager, you need to think that would a customer understand that? Would a customer get a real time feedback on what to do next? So engineering has to like will have all their shortcuts, but you as a product manager need to think that are those shortcuts really the way to go? And obviously, business just wants that you maximize the revenue. Now, you can maximize the revenue if you show only ads on your homepage. But that's not the right thing to do, right? As a customer, you don't want to see ads on your homepage. So making a balance, like creating a balance between all these functions and to do the right thing is what I would say product management is majorly about.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us for on this topic. Now, moving on, like what is the specific skill set that companies look while hiring a candidate for product manager position?
Okay, that's a good question. So the biggest skill in my opinion is analytics. Why do I say that? Because analytics actually is not just about numbers, right? It is about a way of thinking. that how do you think through a problem and how do you hone data to get to that solution. So, for example, um, if I have an opinion versus you have an opinion, it's only a war of opinion. It's a clash of opinion, and we don't have a decision really. However, if I say that 80% of our users do this, then we definitely have a decision. So that's one thing that I say. The second thing is analytics also help you to deep dive into things, look at all the nitty gritties, look at what are the possible reasons why something is really happening. So that's a big thing when like I would say doing estimates, doing analytics, learning analytics, looking at data, looking at 300 different cuts of data to understand the problem is something that I would definitely recommend. And uh, another thing which is very important in product is communication, because all you'll be doing would be dealing with different teams, and you need to be crystal clear with your communication. You need to be crystal clear on what needs to be done, why is it important, and what exactly uh, are you asking for the other person to do, right?
So, do we need to master an advanced version of the following softwares or tools like MS Office, SQL, or Ruby? Uh,
Okay, so I do believe SQL is important. SQL is very important because when you'll be dealing with data, you'll not have data on a Excel level. Because when you're talking about Make My Trip or a Walmart, you have like 10 million daily active users, so that data cannot be crunched using Excel. So definitely, SQL is very good to have. Excel is super critical because everything that you'll be doing at the end of the day is going to come to Excel at one point of time. So Excel is super important. That being said, I don't think that all the coding languages are like super essential. However, if you know Python or R, I would say that that's a big plus in your profile.
So, how did you hone these skills in your journey? Like, I there are not many languages that are taught in universities. Uh, we are fortunate we've been being taught all these languages, but in that time it wasn't that common for a person to know many of these things. How was it for you?
Well, I agree. I think we were. I was fortunate in a way because during my time, obviously we didn't have anything taught via our college or university. However, the good part was that it was not a must-have for jobs. So when I went into Axtria, my interviews were a bit technical, but not entirely technical. They were technical to a bit that I could do it without really doing a lot of coding. However, once I entered Axtria, we had like a very good 2 month program where we were taught all these languages. And that is where I got my understanding from. And after that, you learn on the job, right? So if you have to do something, you'll figure out a way because Google has everything. So that was for me. Yeah.
so, like, what exactly does a product manager do? Like, what is the scope of the work?
It is immense, I would say. It can range from anywhere to actually designing, to actually doing analytics, to actually doing coding, to actually running the business, to doing nothing at all. So it's actually a lot varied. So I'll give you like real examples. So when I was in Make My Trip, the scope of my work was to obviously create products or get the ideas that will increase the business. That is always the work of a product manager. So once you prepare the idea, you do a proposal. Proposal is nothing but a business document or a business PPT that you create to present it to upper management and taking their buy-in, because that's really important if you want to get things going. So once you have the buy-in, then the work becomes more on a specification document. What is a specification document? It's very simple. It has all the details that there can be of the product journey, covering all the edge cases, covering the entirety of solutions that there needs to be. That being said, it's easier said than done, obviously, because covering 100% of use cases is never going to be an option, really, when you're thinking about a big product. However, yeah, it's majorly that's the expectation, right? Once you do that, you go to the design team and you create the user journeys, get the user journeys created, what needs to be done, how is it going to look like. And after that, you go to the engineering and you get the buy-in from them. And that's when the product starts rolling. Once the product is live, then it comes to analytics. That is the product even worth something that should be there on the app, or it doesn't. So mostly we do a A/B experimentation if it's a product which is not a new product entirely. So for example, if I'm changing a homepage of an app, or I don't know if you guys use Outlook, but I'm pretty sure you'd be using LinkedIn. So if you see LinkedIn, you see that stories sometimes come on the top, sometimes they come in middle, sometimes they don't come at all. So is it a bug? No, it's an A/B experimentation. So you do that to figure out that, okay, is this feature worth having? And after doing analytics, you basically take a call on it. So which part of these journeys are going to be controlled by product manager differ from organization to organization. For example, in Make My Trip, the entire analytics was done by product managers. We used to give like a high level design on what we want. However, in Walmart, we have separate teams who do each of these aspects. And all you need to do is basically figure out what needs to be done, right?
So all these various processes you've told us, what is the most fun one? Like, what is that process that you love to do? Which part of it is it?
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a controversial question, I would say. My answer should be that I love to do everything, but often that's not true. So I think the execution part is most difficult. That is something that I can definitely answer, because there are challenges every single time. If you know that your engineering team has given you a timeline that will do it in a month, you can rest assured that that's not really going to happen. So you need to plan for that. You need to keep track of it, how it is going, and you have to ensure that you close it in that time. The most fun exercise, in my opinion, is user testing and UX. I really like doing it. So once you incept the idea, then and you go to the design, that brainstorming session is amazing. Once you come up with some ideas and then you go to the real customer to test it before you can like ask the engineering to build it, I really get excited by that. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, sir, one more question regarding this only. Any fun memories that you have? One product, if you want to choose one product that you had a lot of fun making or doing something, like what would that product be?
Okay, that's I would say that's an interview question, but okay. So the biggest or the product that I loved doing was the onboarding experience at Make My Trip. So we were I was in Make My Trip and we saw the onboarding experience, and it was quite bad. Okay, so and I'm pretty sure, so all of you are in India. If you have an app, if you have a phone, definitely download Make My Trip from scratch and open it. Okay, so what used to be there, I'll tell you how I came to that question, really. I was looking at some data, and I figured out that users who are logged in convert 3x better than users who are not logged in. So a user who is logged in is 3 times more probable to actually give us an order than a user who is not logged in. Now that makes sense, right? Because a person who needs to do a booking might as well log in. But the problem, however, is that we had only 55% of the people who are logged in. So out of like 100 users who come on the app daily, there are only 55 of those who will be logged in. Now that did not make sense to me. That why would that percentage be so less? I looked at the flow of our login, and I saw that it literally requires 50 taps or 50 clicks to create a profile on Make My Trip. That's more than how much time it takes you to create a profile on Instagram or LinkedIn, where the entire idea is to basically create a profile. So I looked at the different aspects. What exactly are we doing? So you open the app, it says that, hey, you want to log in? They'll say yes. Then we'll take you to the next page. We'll say that, hey, enter your email address. So you enter your email address. That's at least 20 clicks, by the way, right? So you enter your email address, then we'll take you to next. Then we'll say, hey, enter your password. So then user will enter his password. That's again 8 clicks. Then it'll take you to the next page saying that, hey, enter your phone number. That's 10 more clicks. And then it'll ask you for an OTP, which is 6. So, and after that, also, it'll give you like an optionality that you can enter your name also. Now, okay, so there are 5 steps in it. Now, it's an industry standard that for every step that you add, there is a 7% kind of a drop in users. So 7% of the people would basically drop off, and only 93% of them would continue at max. And if you see across 5 steps, you have lost 40% of the audience in that process. What we did was basically, if you open Make My Trip right now, you can literally create your profile in one tap, single tap. You don't have to click twice. So from 50 steps, we reduced it to 1. And as an impact, I would say that earlier 55% of the people are logged in. Today, that number is around 91%. And that's simply because we made it easier. It is difficult for you. It will require 2 taps for you to skip the flow. It will take 1 tap for you to actually log in. Why would you not? So yeah, and why was it fun? It was fun because it was a very difficult process to do it. I don't know how many sleepless nights went into it from the entire team to make it or get it to reality. I remember sitting in office till 3 a.m., 4 a.m. with the entire team pushing this further. So, and that's what makes it fun. The biggest fun part was the impact. We said that we'll take that number from 55 to 65. And we ended up in 90. So yeah, that was pretty fun.
So how can a person pursue product management? Like, is there any specific specialization required or a course that has to be done, or is it just like you're interested in go for it?
I don't think there is a course required. It might be a good to have. I'm not sure, because honestly, I did not do any kind of certification in product management. I don't come from a computer science degree. I don't have a very design kind of an experience. So I landed up in product solely because I was very interested in product. What you can do to go into product is definitely put your do something which is which helps you in understanding the customer, because at the end of the day, that's going to help you. So doing analytics is something that I would strongly recommend, that have a point of view with respect to data, because data is the key. And the second thing is just try and think from a very ground level. Okay, ask questions, because asking questions is really important. When you look at an app, just figure out that why does this app has this, like what is the exact reason, how can you making it better, why do you love to use Uber over an Ola? It's only a product. What exactly does that product have which is so different from Ola? So asking those kind of questions, it's a Swiggy versus Zomato. It's a so that's a kind of a use case which you definitely look for. So think about that, and obviously have a first principle thinking. First principle thinking is nothing but breaking the problem down in so many pieces that it becomes a really simple problem, because no problem is easy until you break it down. So break it down to the level that it becomes really easy. What I used to do during my college, I used to do a lot of guesstimates. Like that is still one of the most fun exercise that I like to do with my friends. Be it anything. Like for example, in our hostel buildings, how many bricks are there? Doesn't make sense, but a good problem to have. So that's again something that I would recommend you all to do, because that's kind of a brain training. You're pushing yourself to think harder.
So you have completed your bachelor's degree in manufacturing, production, and automation. So what made you turn your attention towards product management? Like you had a mentor, or in university you had a friend who made you turn your attention towards product management?
Okay, so I took manufacturing process and automation because I was very much interested in mechanical, and that was the closest to mechanical that we get in NSIT at that time. Now we have mechanical, but anyway, so that's the reason why I took mechanical. I put my hands down. I got my hands dirty while doing a lot of work for the solar car team and everything. But I figured out that that's not really what I want to do. And eventually, like when I got into Red Bull, I realized that this is something that I want to do. This is something that I am actually interested in and probably good at. This journey took me to analytics. From analytics, I had no idea that I'll be going into product, honestly. Um, I had offers from McKinsey and Make My Trip, I told you. And that was probably the toughest decision for me to make. That do I want to go into consulting or do I want to go into product? I chose product because it seemed more exciting at that point of time. Why it seemed more exciting is simply because I would be doing the same thing if I was in McKinsey. However, I was doing something entirely different if I was in Make My Trip. And that helped me take that decision. And yeah, that from there, once I went into product and once I stayed there for 1 year, I was crystal clear that this is what I want to do. Yeah.
So like we've worked for like quite a few renowned companies, like which we listen in like day-to-day life. How was your work experience of these years in all these renowned companies?
Okay, so I can go one by one, I guess. In Axtria, it was an amazing culture. It was not a very large company when I joined in. So we had around 600 or 700 folks, out of which 200 were hired in the same year, campus hires. 200 were hired before that year, again, campus hires. So basically, it was more like you have your college senior right there. So it was a very closed knit kind of an environment. We used to do a lot of work, but we used to chill out a lot. So, like the conversations would be amazing. We'll be having a lot of fun in the office. So that was there. In Make My Trip, obviously we did not have that kind of an experience. Obviously, because I was I was someone who was joining from outside, so it was already a close knit kind of a team. But I was very, very lucky to have mentors who I could rely on, my manager and their managers. I had a very good rapport with them. So that helped me do things. The environment over there was majorly about execution, that you want to get things done and you want to get things done early, which is very important or essential for a organization which is a product led organization. The another very good part about Make My Trip was that it was not a business driven organization. Like, it was, but primarily it was a product driven organization. What that means is simply that when you sit in a company and you're thinking about what we want to do as an organization, it can be that, hey, we want to increase revenue, and all the goals and everything comes from the top management or people who are actually running the business. However, in Make My Trip, which is a product driven organization, it was that ideas can come from bottom as well. If I feel that this is something that we should do and it makes sense, then I will get buy-in to do it. That's one big reason why I was able to do this login revamp and everything. So that was my experience in Make My Trip. That was pretty good. In terms of team, it was a pretty good team. In Walmart, it's a very big organization. So it's a very big pool that you're jumping in. So to stand out, you need to be a very high performer. Now, the problem there is that, hey, well, everyone is there like a very high performer already, because that's what the kind of people they hire. And that's probably the best part. We get things done so early in Walmart that you can't even imagine. Like, I couldn't imagine when I was in Make My Trip that we can do this early. So everyone is so efficient, and that's the best part about it. Another best part about it is that it's very structured. So earlier I used to do analytics for my product. Now I have a team of folks who I can rely on for that. Earlier I used to get my hands dirty when it was about testing or QA or designing. We have teams for that as well. So all you need to do is a lot of communication, which did not really happen in Make My Trip that much, because you can, like, everyone is sitting right next to you, right? So you can just tell them. But again, that's majorly because we are working from a remote environment as well. So that's a challenge. But I think structure, competency is the highlight for Walmart.
So did you work, you have worked in multiple organizations, like did you work in the same department in all the companies, or different departments in different companies?
Yeah, so in Axtra, I was once, to begin my career, I was in a place where we used to design like a call plan. Call plan is nothing but, so there are medical representatives who visit a doctor, right? So which medical representative needs to visit which doctor, how many times a year, which drug do they need to detail, how much time should they take in that detailing. So that was the first half of my work in Axtra. The second half was majorly about attribution. So on a higher level, if you have like $200,000 to spend on marketing, where should you be doing the marketing? So that was the second half. In Make My Trip, I was during my entire tenure, I was in growth team. I started off as a product analyst, worked there for like 4 months. Over there, I was taking care of small bits and chunks of product improvements and doing analytics for the other members in the team. Then I got graduated to a product manager, where I was doing what I told you I was doing, and I was doing analytics for my own ideas or my own products. And in Walmart, it's a separate thing altogether. So I am currently like a component PM. Cart and checkout is entirely under me. So if anyone wants to get anything done on these two journeys, then they'll have to get in touch with me. And once I understand the product, once I have a buy-in, only then it'll get moving. So that was there.
So now moving on, like, what are your thoughts on growing popularity of learning multiple coding languages?
I think it's learning multiple coding languages. I'm not sure how important it is. It depends on what career path you want to take. If you want to be a software engineer, then definitely it makes a lot of sense for you to be on tabs on what is going on in the market, what are the new languages coming up, how is it done. If you want to be in uh, any other profile, then I believe all you need to do is basically work on your logic, because language is nothing more than a, a, a way of executing what the logic is. But the thing that is driving all of it is logic. So I would rather not learn three languages. I would rather learn just one, but make a lot of, like, put in a lot of work on how can I strengthen the core logic which is there. And I can do that by reading, I can do that by learning, I can do that with brainstorming exercise, doing puzzles, doing guesstimates, so case studies. So yeah.
So, like you had mentioned in Axtria, there was like a 2 months of time period where you had to learn languages like Ruby. You mentioned how did you use those languages in what software, some sort?
Okay, so the languages that were taught were R, SQL, Excel, um, and Tableau, SAS. So these are the key languages that we were taught. Excel never goes off from your life. I don't know, you're in college right now, so you'll probably not understand. But if I talk to you like 3 years down the line, you'll know that, okay, Excel runs the world, basically. So Excel was super important. SQL was again very important. So that's what we used to pull all the data and put all the logic in the system, because not everything can be done in Excel because of the limit that you have, which is like only 10 lakh rows. So that's there. R we usually used for any kind of regression, or you can say, like, when you do a predictive modeling, that's where R was really essential. Now that's taken over by Python, but at the end of the day, the code logic is very similar. So that's where we used all the languages. SAS, honestly, like, I learned SAS, but I never used it in my entire tenure. It's going away.
So, sir, there's this question one of the students asked. What makes a product pretty successful? Like, if you, what are the aspects that you sure are good in the product by marketing?
It's a very open-ended question. I would say it's a good question, but it's an open-ended question. What makes a product successful is basically defined by what is the metric that you're trying to move, right? So, for example, it should be easy to use. Obviously, that's something that goes constant. It never changes. That whatever product you're making, it should be very, very easy to use. So that's one. But success can be defined not just by that. It also needs to be defined on what were you trying to achieve. I can create a cross sell kind of a product, or I can create a recommendation engine, which is very helpful for the user, but is not really getting any additional bookings for me as a platform. So, for example, Make My Trip, I have a homepage where I tell you the right recommendations. You click on them, you like them, and then you go to Ixigo and book it, right? So good product doesn't solve the purpose. So defining that purpose, and if you're able to fulfill that, I think that would be a great product. What goes unsaid is that it should be easy to use. It should be intuitive. Having coach marks to guide you through a product, I think you have failed as a product already.
So, sir, how do you get to know what exactly the customers want?
Ask them. More often than not, you'll not get the answer. They don't know what they want. Steve Jobs always said that what you like, you don't give people, like Apple never gave people what they wanted. They always innovated something which they couldn't even imagine. But that's Steve Jobs. That's why there was only one, and probably like Elon Musk, just like second. But for all the rest of us, I would say that we talk to the customer, we try and understand that what the pain point is. We ask for problem, we don't ask for solution, because we can potentially come up with a better solution. So you ask them what the problem is, you try and understand what their problems are, what are the challenges that they face, and then you can go and dig deep into the solutioning bit. You can take recommendations, but you don't really want to like pursue them really. And another big important thing, as a product manager, you're not supposed to always come up with ideas. Ideas can be lying anywhere. It can be with the engineer, it can be with a QA, it can be with a designer. All you need to do is be crystal clear about what the problem is, put that problem in front of everyone, and then wait to hear ideas. If you have an idea and it makes more sense, then well, great, go for it. If not, if someone else comes up with an idea which makes more sense, there you go.
So, sir, like, would you tell us about what challenges you faced throughout your journey from being a student for now, being product manager for all now?
Yeah, honestly, I faced a lot of challenges. Never in my life I thought that I'll be doing coding, very, very honestly. But then I landed up in Extra and I had to do coding. I remember very clearly that during my first week, I was having SQL exercise, and I literally was like almost crying when I was on call with my mom, saying that, "Mom, I can't do this. Like, this is not something that I can do." Uh, Fast forward 6 months, I was coaching people in SQL at Extra itself. Then I went to product management at Walmart. No idea about how e-commerce works. No idea about how product is done. Uh, for first 6 months, I kept questioning myself that, do I really belong here? Do I really want to do this? Fast forward 6 months, 1 year, here I am. And now I know 101% that this is what I want to do for the foreseeable future. So there were challenges, but I think the biggest part or the biggest learning that I can impart to you all is stay there and keep trying. Like, don't give up. And that's basically the mantra of life. If you don't have challenges, probably you're not in the right place. Till the time you don't have challenges, you're not going to learn.
So is product management just for the tech industry, or does it have a range?
Dude, I can tell you for a fact that everything in your life currently is about product management. Trust me or not. Tell me about one thing. How many hours of your day go into digital things, be it a phone, be it a computer, be it a TV, be it a smartwatch? How many hours? Or be it a music system, right? I don't know, anywhere from
7 to 8.
10. I would not. Okay, so 7 to 8 is the conscious time that goes in it. If you talk about it subconsciously, it would be probably be 12. So the only time that you're not interacting with the product is when you're sleeping and when you're playing. Rest all the time goes into products. You are either on your phone, you're driving a car, again, a product. You are trying to sleep, so you're listening to YouTube videos, music, anything like that, a product. Nowadays, people sleep with a watch in their hand so that it can track your sleep. Product. So yeah, everything ranges from that. What I would say definitely is product. Why is product so looked up to, right? Or why is there a boom in the industry? It is simply because things are moving digital. Everything that we used to do when we go out in the market is now happening digitally. Corona has again given a very huge bump to that already happening scenario. So now everything is run digitally. Now that's not it, right? Because currently you're doing it on phone, but Elon Musk is basically coming up with an idea that he'll put a chip in your brain, and probably after that you won't be needing a phone, right? You won't be needing a laptop, you won't be needing a smartwatch, you will need nothing. However, you will still need product, because how do you define that experience is product. And that's why technologies might change, the way to consume information might change. What is going to be constant is defining that experience and executing that that idea, and that's where product comes into picture, right? So yeah.
So, how do you prioritize the tasks while a product is being made?
Rely on data, a lot on data. If you say that something has a, I have 3 tasks, all of those 3 are going to take 2 days each to get resolved. And in terms of impact, I know that one has more impact than other, and the third one, here it is. I have a prioritized list. However, it's not that easy, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to also align it with the thought process of the organization, right? So if as an organization we are moving towards this goal, then priorities has to be set in that manner that you reach that goal. The third aspect to it is impact. And so it's always a game between impact and how much time it is. Like how much time do you want to put to get this thing out of the code? If it is 2 weeks and the impact is high, then and it doesn't align with the thought process of the organization or where we are moving, probably it's okay to be there, because that feature is anyway going to go away. However, if it is a 2 week impact is like 2 week work, the impact is lesser, but the organization's focus is to move towards that duration that you need to prioritize it. So it's a very, like, you learn it with time. It's not a like a straightforward metric that you can use to prioritize tasks. However, that being said, numbers are super important.
I just have this one announcement for our audience. If there is any questions y'all need to ask, so y'all can put it on our chat box and we'll ask it straight. Uh, so there's this question that our audience put up is, what is a market fit and how does a product manager achieve that?
What is a Okay, that's a good one. So, what is a product market fit? I would say that if you're whenever you're coming up with an idea, you always know that, or you always should know that what are the audience who are going to use it. So, for example, when we came up with an idea of trip ideas in Make My Trip, it was an exploratory product. So everyone who is there can open Make My Trip and look at the destinations that you can visit. It's an exploratory product, absolutely. Now, a product market fit for that is the not the people who are like 50 or above, right? It's only for people who are still young and want to explore what are the places to go. So that's where product market fit comes into picture, that when you're defining a product, you need to be aware of who is the right set of audience that the product is going to appeal to, and then you need to create it accordingly. So that's where product market fit comes into picture.
Sir, what is your opinion regarding these various exams that students wishing to pursue master's degree have to give? Like you yourself have a pretty great score in GMAT. What do you think about that?
Yeah, the only thing I would say is that I have a good score in GMAT. However, I am still not going for an MBA. So my opinion is going to be very different. I would say that I had given my GMAT 5 years earlier, and for all of those 5 years, I was super confused that should I go for an MBA or not, because every time I wanted to go for an MBA, there would be this opportunity that comes in, which is so much exciting that I would defer it for 6 months later. Okay, 6 months later, and now I have reached a place where it doesn't make sense. Honestly, I feel that everything that I want to learn, I can learn it on the job, on the go. Still, an MBA makes sense because it helps you network a lot. It helps you learn a lot of different perspectives. So, no two ways about having an MBA. But is it essential for you? Is something that you need to decide for yourself. If a software engineer wants to go into product, probably an MBA would be super helpful. If you're a person who is not very business oriented, then a product manager, then a MBA might help you in that. If you want to network, you have a family business, you want to grow, you have a startup idea that you want to work on. All these things, an MBA makes sense. For me, it honestly didn't make sense because I wanted to go in product, and people do MBA to get into product, but I was already in there. So yeah, that's for me. Yeah.
And sir, is there any advice you would like to give our audience and students present here?
Yes, guys, put a lot of time in extracurriculars, co-curriculars. Put a lot of time in networking. I do believe that having college remote is an amazing opportunity for everyone out there. You can be working on internships while you're doing your college. You can be learning about 10 different things while you are doing your college, because when you are in campus, you and I both know what we are doing, right? So clearly, that's very limited thanks to you being at home. So hone that time to explore. By the time, I know that things have turned very competitive in your age, it was not that competitive when we were graduating. So you should have a clear idea on what you want to do. And once you have a clear idea on what you want to do, then you can start networking, talking to people, connecting with folks to understand how it is done, to understand the nitty-gritties of it, to understand what it is about. And it's power to you. You have all the time in the world. You can experiment on 10 different things and then choose probably the 11th. No one is questioning you, but put this time to good use. That's the only advice I have.
So we have one more question from the audience. Like, do you think a good product manager should know software development too? Because as a product manager, you have to decide sprints with the tech teams, and tech teams always comes up with some excuse or the other.
Okay, good one. I'm a product manager. I don't know coding. At the end of the day, they are going to implement a logic, right? It's a bug. You know what it is about. You know that logically this needs to be done to fix it. You can always tell that to the. So all you need to do is basically ask the right set of questions, and you need to be very logical about those set of questions. Having software development experience might help, but it can also backfire. Why do I say that? Because if your engineering team is coming up with an estimate of say 2 weeks, and you say that, hey, it's a 2-day task, why do you need 2 weeks? and you question them in that sense, first of all, it's not the right way to do it, right? Because everyone is professional. If they are coming up with an estimate, you need to respect that. However, if you still do, they might implement something which breaks on when you take it live, right? On production. So, and then it will be all on you that, hey, yeah, we fixed it in 2 days, by the way. So that's not something that I would recommend doing. However, having a software development experience would help, definitely. No two ways about it. But it's not essential. It's a good to have.
Thank you, sir. Now, that was a very enlightening session. And on behalf of the whole team, I would like to thank Mr. Akshit for being such a wonderful speaker throughout the chat and making this session very interesting. And a huge thank you to our director, sir, Mr. Akshay Malhotra, and the faculty members for being so supportive and guiding us at every step.
This isn't a goodbye, guys. It's just a see you soon. We'll meet next week for another fire chat with another inspiring guest. So see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Akshit, sir.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. Okay. Take care.